Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a past life regression hypnosis session. A few days ago, I did a poem inspired by the idea of past life regression. It got back on my radar from two things. One, a book, Many Lives, Many Masters, by Dr. Brian Weiss, but also a concept that I've had for a TV show based on past life regression for a while. And I thought, I need volunteers, I need real people to test out some of these ideas that I have for this TV show that incorporates the ideas of past life regression. And my first volunteer was a gentleman called Bob. And normally, if you're a regular listener to the show, you'll know that it's impossible to figure out who my clients are because of the confidentiality that I have, but also you never hear their voice in the hypnosis sessions. This is an exception because whenever I do free sessions with people, it's normally because they consent to forgive that confidentiality. And Bob quite kindly volunteered to be a guest on a past life regression session. So I have the video captured of the session and the interview before and after. But for this podcast, what you'll listen to is the actual past life regression part of it. And Bob went back to a time where he was a villager as a child, nice, peaceful, happy childhood. But then it could be war, it could be raiding, it could be some kind of attack. But effectively, something bad happened in the village in the first timeline. And there's an element of, because we're dealing with time, changing the timeline to enable the past life to have an alternate history, a history where they trust their intuition. And in doing so, it leads to good things. And what was fascinating is that after the session, Bob shared some really interesting insights that actually that helped him to kind of have a different way of thinking about things, to almost go against the grain, not care so much what other people are thinking. And this solidifies part of my thinking, which is that even using past lives as a metaphor for empowering change is a really useful way, so long as you get benefits in your real life. Part of the TV show is going to look at, is past lives real? Almost through this kind of lens of a detective. Could this place have existed? Trying to pin down where the location, what time in history. And you'll hear some questions that I ask in the past life regression to give clues as to when in history this past life was, where in the world it was. So I was very happy with this session because a lot of the ideas that I have for this concept of a show seem to be viable based on this little interaction. But I need more volunteers. So if you don't mind being recorded, both vocally and visually, as part of a hypnosis session on past life, I'd love some more volunteers for the show. Because it's a free session, I can't give confidentiality because I need the audio and the video to be used as part of certain things necessary to pitch an idea for a show. But as long as you're happy to have that trade-off, that because it's free, you don't mind it not being confidential. And obviously in Bob's case, I'm not sharing Bob's surname, so there is an element of anonymity. But of course, someone listening to it might recognize Bob's voice and think, oh, I know Bob. So I can't promise confidentiality, but if you like the idea of being a guest, maybe it's just for curiosity to figure out, if you were to have past life regression with a trained hypnotist, where would it take you? What would your past life have been? So it could just be from a state of curiosity, or you might feel it could benefit you in your active life now. If that's the case, you can reach out to me by email. So the email is adam@adamcox.co.uk. That email address is in the show notes. Or you can check me out on Instagram. So @AdamCoxOfficial. Drop me a direct message there. And, if it seems like there's a fit, I can send you a link to book that free session. But before you do that, it's probably worth listening to the session I did with Bob, just to see if it's the kind of thing that floats your boat and would be of interest for you. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, just imagine breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. That's it. And you can position your body in a way to enable you to feel deeper relaxed. And notice as you slow down your breathing, you're able to move the location of your breath from your chest down into your diaphragm, meaning that you can breathe in deeper and exhale deeper. As you breathe in and breathe out, give permission to release any feelings of stress or tension in your outward breath, particularly around your eyelids and eyes, jaw and neck and shoulders. Finding it easier to breathe in, breathe out, to swallow, to really release any tension around the chest, the diaphragm. Breathing in and breathing out, feeling deeper and deeper relaxed. As your body relaxes, I want you to imagine that your imagination is awakening. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a grand library. Perhaps the biggest library the world has ever seen. I want you to picture large mahogany staircases, row upon row of shelves. But I want you to notice that the books on these shelves aren't modern books. These are books from history, leather-bound books made from old printing presses. Perhaps even some of the pages are handwritten. And I want you to imagine there is a smell in this ancient library, a smell unique to old books, the ambience of knowledge and wisdom. And I want you to feel drawn, almost like there's a magnetic pull, to a particular shelf in this library. want you to approach this shelf, and I want you to see that there is a shelf that represents every book of the lives of your existence. In the middle of this shelf is your current life, and there are books of future lives, and there are books of past lives. Each book is a life, and I want you to feel drawn to a particular book in your past life. And the reason for that is that one of these books represents a moment in time that created a sense of ongoing anxiety or trepidation. Something happened in one of these past lives that caused you from that point onwards to be vigilant, on edge, very aware. And we don't have to change anything, but I'm wondering if it might be useful to explore that life and what happened in that life. And maybe you go back 3 or 4 or 5 lives in your past, maybe 10 or 20. And the further back you go, the further back in history you're exploring until there is a book that seems to be calling you. And I want you to imagine pulling that book from the bookshelf, holding the weight of it in your hand. And I want you to imagine there is a very comfortable chair, a sofa there in that grand library, or perhaps a desk. And I want you to imagine taking that book to a comfortable place where you can read it. Maybe you're on the chair and the book is in your hands, or maybe the book is on the table and you're turning the pages. But I want you to imagine you're turning the pages towards the beginning of this book, representing your childhood in this life. And sometimes when we read books, it becomes natural for us to almost teleport into the story. So we start being a character in the story rather than simply reading it. But at the moment, I want you to imagine seeing the words on the page of a time in history that describes the life of a small child. And as you start reading the words, maybe things like the environment, the location. As you read those words, you almost gravitate into that existence. So you feel that you are the child in that environment. Imagine you can look around, see what you see. And when you feel that you are there in the past, in a life that clearly isn't your own, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to explore the terrain. And perhaps notice how relaxed and comfortable you feel in that environment. And I want you to imagine that you are able to just tell me what you see and what's around you.
Kind of a village in a valley. Natural fiber clothing. I don't see anything that is defining to a time, but a peaceful, small village setting.
And I want you to explore the countryside, the village, maybe getting a sense of how big the village is. Looking around, and do you feel happy as a child here in that village?
Yeah, it seems like very comfortable, peace times. Everyone's kind of just doing their daily harvesting and children playing amongst the adults.
Do you get a sense of the language being spoken or the location of where you are based on the terrain?
I think it's somewhat dry, but still there's green trees. But the dress is something like a smock type. I'm thinking Mediterranean, but not too hot.
But there's no sign of vehicles or technology. This is something from the past.
Yeah, I'm thinking carts and buggies. Carts, sorry.
And I want you to go to a place, even back then, where you would play and feel how good it feels to just connect with being a child, enjoying play. Maybe you're playing with a small animal, maybe you're playing with your friends, maybe there's things that you did back then, and just connect with that feeling of joy and play and comfort.
I gravitated towards a well, like a community center. People come to get their water, and children often find each other there, and we're just playing, and it feels very peaceful and communal.
And I want you to imagine now that you are going back to your residence, your home, wherever you live. And I want you to describe that home for me and just what you see and what you consider your home back then.
I'm thinking hut, that's the wood is not planed, it's just very primitive, but I'm thinking like carts and so somewhere in the last 2,000 years, I'd imagine.
And I want you to go into the home and find where you would sleep. And just imagine resting on wherever you would normally go to sleep. Imagine closing your eyes there in your own body, the body of a child back then. And I want you to travel forwards in time within this lifetime to a moment that caused a feeling of vigilance, a feeling of needing to be alert, on guard. And I want you to imagine that you awaken perhaps in the same hut or a different hut, but at this new age, an age where something happened that then caused you to be more vigilant, more alert. And when you're ready and you feel like you're in that place, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine leaving the hut and now describe what you see and what's different.
I'm seeing just panic, and I'm thinking like rumors of war. Not that I am in the midst of violence or fire, but just that everyone's panicked and stiff and trying to figure out what to do.
So it seems like there is information shared across the community, across the village, that there is danger that is in the future but hasn't arrived yet. Does that feel like it's true?
Yes.
Are you male or female in this life?
Male.
And do you feel there is a responsibility for you to help defend the village or protect the villagers in some way?
I guess I'm feeling more, everyone's trying to figure out whether to make a run for it, where to go, what to bring, how quickly to leave. Is the information even true?
Mm-hmm.
But just maybe some very large foreign army advancing.
Yeah. And is there a leader in this village?
I'm thinking an older man or older men, but at this time it feels like they don't even have anything to say. It's just everyone's just in total shock, panic.
And I want you to tell me, go into the future until a decision is made and something happens, and then tell me what happens.
It's funny. I feel like I want to say there's a long adventure, but I'm just thinking just burning village and just watching everyone being mutilated.
Are the people invading the village on horses, or are they carrying weapons, or how would you describe them?
I'm seeing metal armor, kind of like Roman Empire type dress.
And do you die or survive in this experience?
I die.
And what age do you think you were when this happens?
I'm thinking young man, 20, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just a feeling of, we should have listened, we should have gone, we should have got out of here.
Yeah. I want you to rewind it before the death happens and take the perspective of a third-person observer. You're no longer in your body, and just describe what happens at the point of your death.
Just a chaotic scene of people either running or, scattering and trying to get away, but and just uncertainty. Should I be looking for my family? Should I just be running? Should I be helping the person next to me?
How do you die in this? How do you die in this past life?
Trying to fight back. What's that?
How do you die in this past life?
I just think I'm hit with a weapon and knocked down, just as they're just pushing through the village, just seeing other people being struck down and then trying to run but getting hit as well.
I want you to rewind things back to where there was first murmurs and whispers of imminent danger. Feel like you're back in your body, back then in that time, in that history. But now, with the knowledge of what happens in the future, I want you to make a new decision as to what to do. Maybe you leave the village. Maybe you warn other villagers. Maybe you do something to keep yourself safe. And I want you to feel like you're doing that thing, that with the benefit of future insight taken back into this moment, you make a new choice, new decisions. that you anticipate danger and you act on that anticipation. And then tell me what happens in this new future.
I think being pushed to find my voice and speak up and trying to motivate people or invite people to come with me, but also not waiting around, not endlessly begging people to come with me, with the plan that I'm going. I know I need to do this. I want you to come with me, but we're leaving either way.
I want you to feel in that moment that took courage, that took insight, that took an evaluation of all different variables, and to do something that was against the grain of what was expected. But in doing so, it led to your survival. And I want you to feel an increasing sense of belief in your own intuition, that you are unlocking courage within you, and that sometimes the courageous thing to do is to go against the grain, to do the thing that people wouldn't expect you to do. And I want you to go forward in this new timeline, experiencing perhaps many more years of life, experiences. And I want you to go forwards in time to a moment of immense gratitude and appreciation. And when you're in this new moment of gratitude and appreciation, let me know by nodding your head. And tell me what's happening.
I'm just seeing like a new time of stability. No village or farmlands, just kind of in the woods, but just a moment where I feel like I can rest and look around and appreciate my children and just the gratitude of seeing other people laugh and I guess some knowledge that I made the right choice, I guess. Because I could see, you leave the village and never know what happened. But trusting my intuition, the courage to trust my intuition, like you said.
I want you to imagine in this moment feeling that sense of gratitude to hug your children. Feel that sense of gratitude, appreciation, and that inner belief in doing what your gut tells you is the right thing. And to take that wonderful feeling of love and gratitude and inner trust, and then to feel like you're back there in that ancient library, holding the book in your hands and feeling like you got a glimpse of a previous life. But from that previous life, you're able to extract wisdom, insight, and some feeling that will ripple through time, not just to your current life, but to all the lives that follow that moment. And if your unconscious is happy to accept that new wisdom and a new alteration in the ripples of time, in feelings of calm, intuition, and gratitude, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then feel that you can put the book back on the shelf, but you feel lighter, more relaxed, more calm. A feeling that something has changed way beyond a moment moment in time. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel like you're leaving the library and returning to what we can call the present moment. Very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken with a feeling of profound insight, an immense sense of gratitude for the people in your life right now, and a growing sense of connection between you and your intuition, meaning that you don't have to worry so much, check so much. Trust that your intuition will do the checking for you, to give you information for you to make decisions that may seem counterintuitive in the moment, but in the long term could lead to even more moments of immense gratitude. Take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your nose, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Get a sense you're completely connected into this moment in time, as very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.